before. A goalkeeper leaves the goal unattended to celebrate what he thinks is a victory while the ball finds its way into the net. It's always funny, but this one's extra special because this goalkeeper had no reason to celebrate that hard. He didn't save that ball. The player just missed the goal. It's fine to be happy, but having a whole parade is a really disproportionate response here. It's always nice to see a cocky goalkeeper put in his place.
My question is, what the heck?
That's what this team was thinking when they decided to huddle together inside their own goal. After all, this indirect free kick was happening from just 16 feet away. Still, it's not really an excuse to turn into a real-life Looney Tunes cartoon. All heck breaks loose the moment the kick happens, with everyone scrambling over each other, and if you watch closely, you might even spot a moment or two which kids probably shouldn't see. Kosuke Hashino learned his lesson about that though. It's a great play, sure, and the field is wide open, so it's not unreasonable for him to assume that he's going to make this try. So he goes for one of the most stylish tries of his career. After all, nobody can stop him now. Except himself. You can always get in your own way. Because they always seem to have their backs turned when they're doing it. You'd think they'd know. It seems especially strange to do that when the match is just turned around and the opposition is racing toward the goal, like this Duisburg goalkeeper did. At least the Chongqing goalkeeper thought they'd stopped playing. The best part about both clips though is how they freeze when they realize what they've done. It's hilariously hopeless. Ball went in the net and he decided that was enough for a celebration and never bothered to find out otherwise before running off toward his adoring crowd to celebrate. And they just cheer and jump with them. They must have realized it was offside. They weren't facing away from the field like him. Are they just humoring him? Is it wishful thinking? Someone really should have told him.
He's still going on. It won't count, Kerem, I'm sorry.
Stretcher bearers are saviors in a match, always there to act swiftly and help the injured. That makes this performance even weirder. They look haphazard from the start, but when they start carrying Leonardo Kutrysov, it turns into a full-on slapstick routine where one starts tripping over nothing and dragging the other guy down with them. Then the Laurel and Hardy wannabes finish off their routine by just dropping the stretcher holding the injured player to the ground while one dusts his hands off as if to say job well done. Kutrys literally would have been better off if he'd limped off himself. You never anticipate something like this. This is Frankfurt's captain David Abraham intentionally knocking over Freiburg's coach Christian Streich. One thing's for sure, an offense like that is much more obvious when it's not committed against another player. And because everyone knows what you've done, it's much more likely to start a fight, which it did. But that won't surprise anyone. It was bound to happen just as much as that red card. There are plenty of skills on display in any professional football match, but one thing you really don't see very often is an overhead kick goal. But this Thai football team is here to fix that with 2 for the price of 1. Yep, that's 2 players opting for a bicycle kick goal attempt at the same moment, and they actually succeed as well. You probably won't ever see a moment like that in football again. You're probably a football fan, but do you remember the first time you saw a game played? This kangaroo had that moment when it hopped onto the field during an Australian National Premier League match. It was obviously dazzled by what it saw and decided it just had to join in. Unfortunately, it wasn't very good. You can't really blame it. It was its first time playing, but it probably shouldn't have been trying to play with the best teams in the country. Still, you can't fault its determination to join in. matches are called off for all sorts of reasons, but this one really is worth talking about. This Bahia State Championship match between Vitória and Bahia descended into chaos after Vinicius danced around the field when Bahia scored a penalty. It turned into a full-on 16-minute fight with punches thrown. 8 players were sent off and the match continued, right up until Vitória had 2 more players dismissed. The match was abandoned with more cards on the match sheet than you've ever seen in a single match. Watch this one closely. Some kind of witchcraft was going on in this match. Watch this moment when Stefan Kaesling scored. The crowd goes wild, but something there was weird, right? How did it get past Cohen Casteels? He was right there. And watch again. It was outside the goal, and then it was a goal. What happened there? A phantom goal? Sorcery? Actually, he missed the goal, and look at him, he knew it. The ball entered the goal from the side net. It shouldn't have been a goal, but it was awarded anyway. Lucky break, but not for the other team. Dogs just love balls, so I guess this was bound to happen one day. This excited puppy makes its way into a stadium during the middle of a football match, and no matter what anyone tried, it was determined to join in the fun. The only problem is, dogs don't really understand the rules of this game, which is probably why the offside flag didn't stop it from running around. All the players gathered together to try and chase it off the field, so it settled for a belly rub and left. This isn't just a weird moment in football, it's a weird moment in human history. Usually humans will do whatever they can to avoid being hurt. Not Brian Carrasco, though.
My question is, what the hell?
He had an idea, you see. He thought it would be great to get one of his opponents sent off and get a free kick to boot. But how do you do that? Apparently, the best way is to grab your opponent's hand and punch yourself in the face with it. Nobody was fooled. Everyone knew he wasn't being attacked, but was just behaving like a crazy person, and he got nothing out of it but a sore eye.